Warning! This show contains strong language, strong opinions, and even stronger coffee. If you are easily offended, chronically triggered, or currently wearing a coexist bumper sticker, please consult a licensed emotional support animal before continuing. Viewer discretion is not only advised, it's required.
Tonight, DC is on fire again, and not the fun kind. Marjorie Taylor Greene just got politically ghosted by Trump, and the fallout looks like a reality show that didn't survive the pilot. Months of feuds, screaming matches, and self-inflicted chaos finally caught up, and Trump basically said, "Yeah, I'm done babysitting." Meanwhile, AOC jumped on TV and delivered a take so mind-numbingly stupid it should have come with a Surgeon General's warning. Something about car thefts being caused by capitalist despair. Because apparently criminals aren't criminals. They're just emotionally distressed entrepreneurs. And big tech? Oh, they're back on their bullshit. Leaked docs show they were once again tweaking the algorithm like a DJ on Adderall, boosting Dem narratives, burying conservative ones, and pretending it's all a coincidence. Spoiler, it's not. So buckle up. We've got MTG melting down, AOC redefining stupidity, and tech giants playing Puppet Master. Welcome back to your Monday drive home. This is Data and Dissonance. All right, Patriots, welcome back to another week of Data and Dissonance. Your 5 p.m. drive time dose of truth, chaos, and the occasional existential crisis about how dumb our elected officials actually are. And as always, I'm not doing this alone. We're bringing in the crew. First up, Brian, ready to light the stage on fire with that MAGA Fire Monday energy. He's the only man who can turn a press conference into a cage match and somehow make it patriotic. Then Rachel, the balance, the brains, the one who can sift through Democrat bullshit without needing OSHA-approved gloves. Reality checks are on the house. Next is Daniel, connecting the dots, pulling the strings, and showing you how every headline this week somehow ties back to some 3-letter agency doing weird midnight shit they definitely shouldn't be doing. And finally, Skylar, bringing that progressive Green Party vibe, reminding us the world is burning, healthcare sucks, billionaires are evil, and for some reason, plastic straws are still the greatest threat to humanity. And together they make a panel that will either inform you or make you want to drink. Either way, let's begin. All right, crew, let's kick Monday off with the political soap opera none of us asked for, but all of us absolutely saw coming. Marjorie Taylor Greene just got dropped by Trump harder than CNN got dropped by basic cable. This wasn't a small distancing. This was a full-on breakup. The kind where you wake up and the toothbrush, hoodie, and spare charger you left at their place are suddenly outside on the porch in a trash bag. Trump is officially done backing her, done defending her, done pretending she hasn't been running around DC like a political Molotov cocktail with legs. And honestly, this wasn't about one moment. This was months of blow-ups, tantrums, fights with her own party, public feuds with Boebert, and threats to expose GOP leadership that had everyone in the same room looking like, oh, hell no, not today. Trump saw the mess piling up and said, yeah, nah, you're on your own. So let's dig into it. Brian, I'm throwing it to you first. What the hell led to this divorce?
Bro, it's simple. MTG forgot the rules of the game. Loyalty upward comes before the theatrics outward. You don't go after your leadership, fight with your own party on camera, threaten to blow the lid off the whole GOP, and then expect Trump to keep patting you on the head like a golden retriever with rabies. She went from being a warrior to a walking liability. Every time she opened her mouth lately, the comms team had to put out a 5-alarm fire. And once she started beefing with Boebert, again, Trump was like, all right, I'm done parenting these toddlers. She thought she was untouchable. Turns out, Trump doesn't play with people who don't play on the team.
You're not wrong, man. MTG's been acting like the coworker who thinks being loud equals being effective. The one who slams paperwork down, storms around the office, but accomplishes absolutely jack shit except elevating everyone's blood pressure. And the Trump thing? That's like trying to scream at your boss in front of the whole company and being surprised you got written up. Girl walked into the political kitchen swinging frying pans, but forgot she's not Gordon Ramsay. She just makes a mess. All right, Rachel, jump in here. What's your read on why Trump finally hit the eject button?
Honestly, this was overdue. MTG's entire brand has been built on shock value, but shock value without strategy is just noise. And lately, she's been all noise, no direction, and no self-awareness. She went from fighting Democrats to fighting Republicans, then fighting staffers, then fighting her own shadow, like she forgot who the actual opposition is. When you become more of a distraction than the Democrats themselves, that's a problem. Trump isn't stupid. He knows when someone becomes a political dumpster fire rolling downhill. MTG crossed the line from fighter to unsupervised toddler with scissors, and that's when leadership steps back. This wasn't a betrayal. This was a mercy killing.
God, the unsupervised toddler with scissors visual is perfect. I'm pretty sure half of Congress has baby-proofed their offices at this point, and MTG's been running around like someone gave her espresso mixed with battery acid. And you're absolutely right. When you're starting more chaos inside your own party than the Democrats are, that's a red flag the size of a CNN headline font. All right, Daniel, I know you've got the conspiracy corkboard out on this one. What's your angle?
Oh, I've been waiting for this. See, people think this is personal. It's not. This was strategic as hell. The GOP is reorganizing behind the scenes right now. You've got power blocks forming, committee shakeups, and a push to streamline messaging heading into the cycle. MTG was becoming unpredictable, and unpredictability is the one thing political machines can't control. She was pushing fights leadership didn't want, threatening to leak internal GOP disputes, and even floating the idea of forming her own faction. That right there, that's when the big dogs close ranks. Trump stepping back wasn't random. It was coordinated to isolate her and remove her influence before she derailed strategy. She became a rogue variable, and the system purged the variable.
Daniel always breaking it down like he's reading from the classified appendix, I swear. But the scary part is that you're probably right, and MTG absolutely felt that shift. You could see it in her interviews. That, oh shit, I might have gone too far look. She turned her flamethrower inward and forgot the machine fires back. All right, Skylar, bring us home. What does this look like from the left side of the aisle?
Oh, this is a comedy goldmine from our perspective. Watching Republicans realize they accidentally created a political Frankenstein will never stop being funny. MTG spent years being the loudest, wildest voice in the party, and Republicans either cheered it on or looked the other way. Now she's turning that same energy back at them, and suddenly everyone's shocked? Please. This is the monster they fed. And Trump dropping her? That's the cherry on top. It shows even he has a limit for chaos, and that's saying something from the left. This isn't downfall, it's karma doing laps around the Capitol.
And that's the thing. This isn't just political drama. It's a message to everyone else in the party. Control yourself or the movement will move on without you. MTG learned that rule the hard way. And trust me, this saga isn't done yet. But for now, let's take a breather. Satire break coming in hot.
Are you a congresswoman who's just been publicly dumped by a former president? Are you experiencing sudden symptoms of abandonment, political irrelevance, or uncontrollable yelling in empty hallways? You may be suffering from post-Trump stress disorder, also known as PTSD-GOP. At the MTG Self-Help Hotline, our specialists are standing by to provide emotional support, breathing exercises, and reminders that yelling louder does not equal policy call now, and receive a free workbook titled, Was It Me? Yes, it was absolutely you.
Side effects may include shouting, blaming colleagues, fighting doorknobs, losing committee assignments, burning bridges, and crafting unhinged social media posts at 3 a.m. If tantrums last more than 4 hours, please consult an adult.
The MTG Self-Help Hotline, because when Trump stops backing you, someone has to pretend to care.
All right, crew, let's shift gears to something that somehow manages to get dumber every time she opens her mouth. AOC hopping on national TV and explaining crime with the philosophical depth of a middle school book report. This week she claimed, dead serious, that rising car thefts are caused by capitalist despair. Not policy failures, not soft on crime DAs, Not the fact that half these cities treat criminals like misunderstood Disney characters. Nope. It's capitalism making people emotionally desperate. You can't make this shit up. Every time I think AOC's reached the ceiling of stupidity, she installs a skylight. Brian, I'm tossing this mess to you. What in the actual hell did we just witness?
Bro, her brain is running vegan battery power. She legit thinks car thieves are sitting around writing poetry about capitalism before they smash a window and hotwire a Kia. This is what happens when your worldview comes from a college sociology class taught by someone who hasn't seen the outside world since dial-up internet. AOC doesn't do reality. She does vibes. She does emotions. She does, I saw a TikTok about inequality, so now I'm an expert. Crime is exploding in Democrat cities because they stopped punishing criminals, period. End of sentence. But she's out here giving TED Talks on spiritual despair. I swear if stupidity were currency, she could buy Manhattan.
I'm convinced AOC wakes up every morning, takes a deep breath, and says, "How can I disappoint the nation today?" And then she delivers. With enthusiasm, imagine being mugged, and the thief's like, "Sorry, bro, capitalism made me do it." Like, what do you even say to that? Damn, man, hope you find closure while you steal my Hyundai. AOC sees crime the same way a toddler sees crayons. Every color except the actual problem. Rachel, please bring some sanity before my brain jumps out of my skull.
This is exactly what happens when people mistake compassion for competency. AOC thinks she's offering a deep sociological explanation, but all she's doing is infantilizing criminals and insulting the victims. She refuses to acknowledge policy failures because that would mean taking accountability, something her wing of the party avoids like sunlight. Crime isn't rising because of despair. It's rising because Democrat cities created an environment where breaking the law carries no consequences. People aren't stealing cars because of capitalism. They're stealing them because the worst thing that happens is they get a sternly worded letter, maybe, and a free meal in holding.
Exactly. These DAs hand out get-out-of-jail-free cards like Halloween candy. And AOC's out here acting like the thieves are victims of an unfair universe. Girl, please. The only despair happening is the despair of taxpayers watching their insurance premiums go up because your policies treat criminals like misunderstood theater kids. Daniel, go ahead. Rip this one open.
What AOC is doing is narrative construction, not analysis. When crime spikes, the left cannot politically survive if the blame lands on their policies, so they deflect to abstract concepts. Capitalism, inequality, social despair, Mercury in retrograde. Anything except their choices. It's intentional. If you frame criminals as victims of systems, then the solution becomes more government, more programs, more bureaucracy, and more centralized control. It's ideological engineering disguised as empathy. AOC's not stupid, she's strategic. But the messaging is so disastrously bad, it collapses under its own weight.
It's crazy, bro. Daniel explains it like a CIA debrief. And meanwhile, AOC explains it like she's doing slam poetry at an open mic night. The difference is incredible. But Skylar, since you're the left seat at the table, I gotta ask, does anyone on your side hear her say stuff like this and think, hey, maybe she should stop talking?
Oh, trust me, plenty of us cringe when she gets too metaphorical. Look, the left cares about economic roots of crime. That part is valid, but she absolutely overplays it, oversimplifies it, and hands the right ammo wrapped with a bow every time she tries to get poetic on national TV. Crime is complicated, but pretending capitalism is stealing cars is insulting to everyone's intelligence. She needs a messaging coach, or maybe just someone who tackles her before she gets near a microphone.
And that's the thing. Crime isn't theoretical. It's real. It hurts real people. And the leaders making excuses instead of solutions are part of the damn problem. AOC's take wasn't just dumb, it was dangerous. All right, that's enough brain damage for one segment. Time to cleanse the palate with satire.
Welcome to the AOC Crime Analysis Hotline, where every problem, no matter how simple, has one magically stupid explanation. Hi, thanks for calling. If your car was stolen, don't panic. It's not actually crime. It's capitalism being like, Kinda mean. That's right. At the AOC Crime Analysis Hotline, we help reframe your real-life trauma through the power of vaguely worded social theories and emotional guessing.
My Toyota was stolen right out of my driveway.
Oh my God, babe, that wasn't theft. That was a redistribution of hope.
They broke my window and took my gym bag.
Yeah, but have you considered the emotional fragility of late-stage capitalism? Like, maybe your window needed to be liberated.
Someone stole my catalytic converter at 2 a.m.
Oh my God, same. But that's just your car going through its spiritual awakening.
Side effects of calling the hotline may include confusion, rage, screaming into the void, higher insurance premiums, elevated stupidity exposure, and long-term loss of faith in elected leadership.
The AOC Crime Analysis Hotline, where responsibility goes to die, and everything is capitalism's fault.
All right, Patriots, let's move into the digital war zone. Big tech. Because once again, the overlords of Silicon Valley got caught with their fingers, elbows, and probably both feet in the algorithm jar. Leaked internal docs showed search results throttled, political posts buried, and conservative content pushed so far down the feed, it's basically living in the basement with Biden's approval rating. They swear it's not bias, but the coincidences keep lining up like a drunk guy trying to justify why every ex-girlfriend left him. This is manipulation dressed up as content moderation. And the timing just happens to benefit Democrats every single time. Imagine that. Daniel, I'm tossing it to you first because I know you've had your conspiracy corkboard ready for days.
Oh, absolutely. See, people think big tech manipulation is like flipping a switch. It's not. It's subtle, layered, and strategic. It's algorithmic triage. They adjust visibility scores, tweak engagement weighting, reroute search priority, and bury anything that threatens the preferred narrative. It's engineered plausibility, just enough technical complexity that the average person can't articulate how they're being manipulated, only that something feels off. And that's the brilliance of it. You can hide an agenda in a line of code easier than you can hide a body in a national park. And every election cycle, like clockwork, these companies recalibrate the matrix to lean left, then act confused when called out, "Oh wow, conservatives magically lost visibility again. Weird." My brother in Christ, the algorithm didn't trip and fall, it was pushed.
Exactly. Every time they say it was an internal error, I want to ask what kind of malfunction conveniently suppresses one political ideology 99% of the time. That's not a glitch. That's a preference. My toaster has fewer accidents than these companies. If they messed up randomly, sometimes Democrats would get shadow banned too. But nope. It's always one direction, like the world's worst boy band. All right, Brian. You've been screaming about this for years, so go off.
Bro, big tech is basically the DNC's private propaganda department. This ain't new. We've watched it since 2016. Conservatives get banned for breathing wrong, Democrats can post a manifesto and remain within guidelines. They bury stories they don't like, promote the ones they do, fact-check jokes, suppress news, and call it safety. Nothing about this is neutral. It's digital election interference wrapped in rainbow-colored corporate branding. And the best part? They act like we're crazy for pointing it out. Like, "Oh, Brian, that video of a conservative getting demonetized was just the algorithm." Yeah? So was Hunter Biden's laptop story? So was every Fauci criticism. So was every Biden gaffe. Funny how the algorithm seems to have a political science degree.
Bro, the algorithm is starting to sound like that one friend who always gets blamed for everything. Like, "Sorry I cheated on you, babe. It was the algorithm." At this point, big tech should just name it Karen, because it's constantly policing everyone but itself. Rachel, bring some reason into this digital dumpster fire.
What frustrates me is how deeply dishonest these companies are about their influence. They pretend to be neutral platforms while acting like editorial boards. They decide what people see, what trends, what gets buried, what gets highlighted, which means they're shaping public perception whether they admit it or not. And every time they're exposed, the same cycle happens. Denial, deflection, and a promise to review internal processes. That's PR code for We'll keep doing it, just quieter. Whether you're left, right, or center, nobody elected these people. Nobody voted for their power. And yet they control the entire flow of information. That should terrify everyone.
It should terrify everyone. The problem is half the country is too busy watching TikTok witches cast spells on their exes to notice they're being manipulated. And the other half is yelling into the void because the algorithm keeps hiding their posts. Skylar, you're our left seat. How do you see this?
Look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend big tech is innocent. They manipulate everything, political content, trending topics, even what music goes viral. But here's the thing. They don't do it for Democrats. They do it for themselves. They protect their brand. They protect their revenue. They protect whatever political class is least likely to regulate them. Sometimes that lines up with the left, sometimes it doesn't. But what is clear is that they operate with zero transparency and zero accountability, and any system that powerful with that little oversight is dangerous. Period.
And that's the real truth right there. These companies have more influence over public opinion than any news network, politician, or institution. And they answer to nobody. They shape reality from behind a screen, claiming neutrality while steering the ship. And the only reason they get away with it is because they lie better than most politicians. But hey, nothing scrubs the dystopia off your brain like a satire break. Let's hit it.
Introducing the brand new, totally transparent, not at all biased, honest algorithm from Big Tech. The only algorithm bold enough to finally admit it's been full of crap for years.
Hello, user. I am the honest algorithm. My pronouns are they, them, the narrative. Please enjoy these upgraded features.
We now shadow ban your content before you post it. Saves time. Our new fact check labels include false but emotionally inspiring, true but inconvenient, mostly true but still racist somehow. We didn't read it, but we hate it. Automatically increases visibility of posts containing keywords like equity, safe space, late-stage capitalism, Biden did a great job today, and AOC is so brave.
Warning, results may vary because Biden rarely does a great job. Bias.
Conservative content is now routed directly to the unpopular opinion bin. It is located behind the recycling dumpster next to the MySpace servers. For your safety, we remove context from political clips. Context is dangerous. It makes people think. The honest algorithm, proudly controlling what you see, what you hear, and what you're allowed to think, all while pretending it's for your protection. Remember, if you disagree with me, that violates community guidelines.
All right, Patriots, before we roll into final thoughts, let me hit you with something that won't get shadow banned, suppressed, or buried by any algorithm. The Data and Dissonance merch drop, live right now in the store. We've got the full lineup locked and loaded. The Bitterroot Dark Roast for the hardcore caffeine warriors, Rock Creek Medium Roast for the everyday patriots grinding through this political circus, and High Lakes Light Roast for the folks who like their mornings smooth but still American as hell. And that's not all. We've got Gen X shirts, hoodies, trucker hats, bumper stickers that will trigger your neighborhood liberals faster than Biden, trips over sandbags, mugs, tumblers, tote bags, and gear for both the daily grind and the weekend fight. Every purchase helps Artie keep this show running and supports the mission behind it. Truth, independence, patriot grit, and giving a middle finger to the mainstream narrative one sip at a time. So grab your coffee, grab your gear, grab something that screams patriotism. And let's keep this movement caffeinated, loud, and impossible to ignore.
All right, crew, let's bring this Monday madness in for a landing. We've covered MTG getting politically divorced, AOC giving us the kind of brain-melting commentary that should come with hazard pay, and Big Tech once again reminding the world that free speech exists only as long as their algorithm approves of it. It's been a day. A full-blown, caffeinated, America, what are we even doing? Kind of day. And this is the part of the show where we slow it down a little, breathe, and let the panel take a step back from the chaos and give you the real, raw, unfiltered takeaways. No headlines, no spin, no noise. Just their closing thoughts on what all this means for the country, for the culture, and for where we're headed next. So let's go around the table and let each of them land this thing.
Look, man, today's show is exactly why people are fired up across this country. You've got leaders on the right forgetting who they serve, leaders on the left forgetting reality exists, and big tech doing digital gymnastics to keep the truth buried under a mountain of curated bullshit. MTG blew herself up. AOC proved once again she's allergic to logic. And big tech is basically the Ministry of Truth at this point. But here's the thing, patriots don't quit. We don't tap out. We don't let algorithms, activists, or confused congresswomen dictate how we think or what we believe. The fight for this country isn't happening in DC anymore. It's happening in the minds of everyday Americans who are sick of being lied to. And every time the establishment screws up, more people wake up. So yeah, I'm fired up, but I'm hopeful too, because when the bullshit gets thicker, patriots get louder.
What makes today's lineup so revealing is how predictable it all is. MTG's downfall wasn't an ambush. It was the inevitable result of ego outpacing purpose. AOC's ridiculous commentary isn't shocking. It's the natural outcome of a political class obsessed with optics instead of outcomes. And big tech manipulation isn't new. It's the same quiet consolidation of power we've been warning about for years, just repackaged in a leak someone couldn't keep buried. What worries me is that everyone sees the problems, everyone feels the consequences, but too many people have become numb to the pattern. We can't afford that. Accountability, responsibility, and transparency aren't optional. They're the only way out of this mess. And until we demand them, we're going to keep reliving versions of the same headlines. But the good news? People are paying attention. And that's the first step to genuine change.
From a systems perspective, today's show paints a very clear picture of where the country is. MTG's crash wasn't random. It was the political machine clearing an unstable node. AOC's messaging blunder wasn't an accident. It was the continuation of a narrative strategy designed to shift blame away from policy failures and big tech. They're simply performing the role they carved out for themselves years ago. Unelected gatekeepers shaping what people think, see, and understand. If you zoom out, it's all part of the same ecosystem, a system built on distraction, selective truth, controlled narratives, and emotional manipulation. The only counter to that is awareness. When you understand the playbook, you stop falling for the plays. And the more people recognize the patterns behind these headlines, the harder it becomes for the system to keep running unchallenged.
What stands out to me tonight is how much of this chaos comes from leaders who refuse to adapt. MTG imploded because she doubled down on theatrics instead of growth. AOC keeps fumbling because she still talks like an influencer instead of a policymaker. And big tech keeps digging deeper holes because they can't admit the power they wield. Whether you're left, right, or somewhere in the middle, none of this works unless people in power start telling the truth and start taking responsibility. The country is exhausted. And honestly, rightfully so, because every week it feels like we're stuck watching the same circus with slightly different clowns. But I still believe most Americans want better. They want honesty, competence, and leadership that doesn't treat them like pawns or idiots. And until the people in charge realize that, nothing changes.
You know, days like today really show you the state of the country in a way the headlines never could. MTG burning herself down, trying to be louder instead of smarter. AOC proving once again that the disconnect between reality and Congress could fill the Grand Canyon. And big tech quietly steering the flow of information like they're the unseen referees in a rigged game. It all points to one truth. America isn't suffering from a lack of resources or a lack of ability or even a lack of potential. It's suffering from a lack of leadership. Too many people in power have mistaken notoriety for purpose, clout for competence, and attention for achievement. And the ones who actually tell the truth get buried, banned, or brushed aside because honesty doesn't trend unless it pisses someone off. But here's the thing. The American people see more than these elites think. You see the manipulation, you see the hypocrisy, you see the games being played at your expense. And every time they underestimate you, they strengthen the people who actually give a damn. That's why we're here. That's why we speak up. That's why this show exists. To cut through the noise, to call out the insanity, and to remind you that truth still matters in a world that wants to bury it under algorithms and theatrics. So keep your eyes open, keep your voice loud, and as always, remember to speak truth, stir thought. And that's gonna wrap it for today's Monday Drive Time edition of Data and Dissonance. We went deep, we went hard, and we didn't pull a single punch. Just the way this show is meant to be. Big thanks to the whole panel for bringing the heat, bringing the honesty, and bringing the humor to another wild start of the week. And to all of you listening on the road, at work, at home, or hiding from your coworkers in the bathroom, we appreciate the hell out of you for tuning in, supporting the mission, and refusing to settle for the watered-down garbage the mainstream keeps trying to spoon-feed the country. We'll be right back here tomorrow. Same time, same crew, same energy, ready to break down whatever fresh political circus rolls out next. Until then, stay sharp, stay caffeinated, stay patriotic, and stay loud. Tonight's episode of Data and Dissonance is brought to you by the Caleb Rourke thriller series. The Covenant Protocol, The Prophet Directive, and the highly anticipated next chapter, Black Echo Rising. If you love political intrigue, shadow ops, deep state conspiracies, and the kind of pulse-pounding action that makes modern Hollywood look like a daycare play, then crack open these books and dive into the world that inspired half this show's attitude. Written by our very own Artie J. Roy III, these stories pull you straight into the fight. The hidden battles, the buried truths, and the operations the government hopes you never hear about, available now on Amazon, Kindle, and everywhere real patriots get their books. Go grab your copy, support the mission, and step into the war behind the headlines.